Hey heroes, welcome to On Scene First. I'm your host, Tracy Eldridge. With over 25 years in public safety, I am wicked excited and honored to bring you entertaining, educational, and empowering conversations with public safety difference makers who are harnessing the power of out-of-the-box thinking when it comes to the use of the latest and greatest must-have technology tools, a people-first leadership approach, and mental health resources to save lives on both sides of the call. Before we get started, I would like to thank our hero sponsor, Squad Life, a law enforcement and Army veteran-owned company based in Long Island, New York. As the On Scene First merchandise production and distribution partner that provides quality, custom-made products, fundraising and partnership opportunities, and phenomenal customer service, we are thrilled to share them with the rest of our public safety family. Make sure you check them out at www.squad-life.com and tell them Tracy sent you. Now, on with the show. Welcome to an amazing podcast. I know it's going to be an amazing podcast because my guest and I go way, way back. I don't even know how many years, but we'll kind of figure that. Maybe we'll figure that out. I think we figured it out not that long ago. But I would like to welcome my buddy Wes Jones. What are you doing? How are you?
I'm good. How are you? I'm actually home this week, which is a rarity. So
I see that.
we had trouble scheduling this.
Yeah, we have, but that you would be on the road as much as you are.
No, I did not.
Yeah. Nope, not at all.
But I generally love it.
Yeah, I like it a lot. It has its moments, right?
Yeah.
Like
Oh,
we
for
get
sure.
put it this way, we can't do what we do without being on the road.
Yeah. And I mean, I get to see new places and places I wouldn't necessarily travel to or get the opportunity to travel to. So that part's cool, but
Yeah,
it is a lot sometimes.
it is. All right. Well, for those that don't know who you are, how about you go ahead and introduce yourself? Tell us who you are, where you are now, but then if you could just give us a little bit of a backstory, how you got here, how you got into public safety.
Okay. So I am Wes Jones. I am a senior customer success manager with RapidDeploy, a now a Motorola Solutions company.
Oh, we're
Uh,
going to talk about that. I
we
need to know
are.
some deets. I need to know some details.
Okay, we'll get into that.
Okay.
So I have been in public safety for a little over 30 years now, which makes me just old. But I started with a sheriff's office in upstate New York. I was doing 911. I was also the emergency manager for the city I lived in. Shout out to my peeps back in Shenango County, New York, and Norwich. But I decided to transition out about a little over 4 years ago and kind of went to
Wow.
side
It's been 4 years.
for almost 4.5.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So um, an opportunity came up to come work for RapidDeploy, and it also kind of coincided with my relationship with my wife that you know all about.
I
And
do.
uh, I now live in outside Greensboro, North Carolina.
Yes, your lovely wife, Miss Melanie
Yes,
Jones, who is our past, just our recent past National Nina president. So that was probably interesting, right? Super fun
it
that
was.
she was in that opportunity. I loved your conference badge ribbon. Why don't you tell
Yeah.
them what your conference badge ribbon was?
Well, it's there's actually two of them. So it started out, Melanie and I kind of we're just had different circle of friends because she lived in the South, I lived in the North. So um, I would get introduced all over as Melanie's husband. And so it was just a running joke, and I made these ribbons that said Melanie's husband,
I love that.
sponsor EMP or RPL. I had some custom ribbons made. And then kind of it took off from there, and people were like, well, when she's president, you need to have a name. So we people threw out different ones and we agreed on first gentleman. So I had some new ones made that said Nina first gentleman.
Love it. I love it. I love it. And yeah, I know you see, it's funny. You say that you had two different circles of friends, but there was one connection between the two friend groups. Who was that?
Oh, that was my friend Tracy.
Yes. Yes. I feel like that moment when we were in Vegas, that all of the stars aligned and you had a flight issue for a reason.
Yeah.
And I just happened to be having dinner with my wonderful North Carolina friends. And I said, hey, Wes, why don't you come have dinner with us since you're stuck here?
Yeah, it was the whole thing was just crazy. Like it wouldn't it just so many things happened that were just crazy. And I mean, I went ziplining with Tony Harrison, the group from North Carolina, and I
Yeah.
only stopped I just stopped to talk to them the night of the APCO block party, and I was actually going to continue down the street because I was trying to find some APCO Atlantic friends actually. But they had wristbands for the same time for zip lining that I did. And I was like, oh, well, can I walk over with you? And then I ended up staying, and then it just kind of went from there.
See,
So
you call it crazy. I call it serendipitous.
yes, I mean, it was obviously too many things happened that were not coincidence. And I'm a firm believer that things happen for a reason.
Yep.
And so yeah. And it was wild because I knew her but didn't know her. She was in my RPL class for 9 months, but I didn't know her beyond a little like half inch by half inch picture because it's all like an online course. And even in the breakout groups, like she wasn't in mine. So like I just knew her by this little picture online. That was it. So
It's just so we could go down. We could go down a rabbit
we
hole
could do
on.
30 minutes on
Oh,
just this.
yeah,
But yeah.
no, we exactly. But so the reason you're here, I mean, eventually you would have ended up on my podcast. I know I'm a little behind. Sometimes, when you're a one-man show, things have to take back seat. So I know it's been a minute since I've launched them, but for the folks that are listening, there will be several coming out over the next few weeks, which I'm very happy about that I've been able to kind of focus back on that. But the reason you're here is because RapidDeploy was a sponsor for my National Public Safety Telecommunicator Week event back in April. And first I just want to say thank you. Thank you for doing that. We were able to give out almost 200 prizes to telecommunicators all over the country just because they registered their name, agency, and gave me their mailing address. And some of those prizes were amazing. So thank you so much
Hey.
to you
Oh,
for initiating that and for RapidDeploy seeing the value in investing in me and what I do for the folks in the field.
absolutely. You know I've been pushing you that I wanted in on this, so I was glad to support it. It's amazing what you've done and how many people get involved. And I mean, 200 prizes is crazy. So a lot of people got some really nice stuff.
Yeah, they did. And I know you were on a couple of times and I know Miss Melanie popped in a few times and it's just such a fun event. So if if you are a commercial partner and you would like to sponsor next year, I'm always looking for more sponsors. I have a few things that I want to do that might be a little bit different next year. So I'll be talking to some sponsors there. So hopefully you'll be able to join us again with that. So I know that many folks know that Rapid Deploy has been in the space. How long have they been in the space here in the United States?
So I believe it's 2018 when they
Okay.
came to the US.
Yep.
And so that's kind of when they got started. I learned of them probably in like 2019. I actually met Steve Router, our founder, at AppGo Atlantic the first time.
Yep.
I had lunch with him with Melanie. That was when I met Steve the first time.
And Steve is a hoot, that guy, I'll tell you.
He's 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 up there.
Yeah. He's got, see, I know I have high energy, but it's not often I find someone with higher energy, and he's like, I think he's like 3 tiers higher than me.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah.
And I owe a lot to Steve. He gave me an opportunity. He actually created a position, or at least opened it up earlier than they anticipated to hire me, and very thankful for that. And gave me that opportunity, and I think I've paid him back. But
I love that. I love that because you and I had a few conversations in the process of you making the decision to transition out of the 911 center. I have a lot of those conversations with folks, and it usually starts with this. This is the question: how do you know when it's time to go? And my
nice.
response is usually when you ask that question.
No, it's true. And I mean, everything kind of was going on with relationship with Melanie that became serious, and it was the right time. The relationship, it was probably time to go, and it was also my son was graduating high school, and all those things kind of lined up at a perfect time.
Yeah. I mean, seriously, like if you sat down and lined up all of the things with your relationship, you guys were destined to be together. And I could not have been happier to receive the call from the two of you saying, hey, guess who I'm here
Yeah,
with?
you were one of the first to actually know.
Yay! I love that. I love being in that spot. That makes me happy. And I was just beyond happy because you both deserved so much happiness and companionship, and I'm just thrilled for that. So you've been there for a few years now. When you came in, what would you say your biggest excitement was when you joined the team at Rapid Deploy?
I was just really excited about what they were doing, and being part of a startup was
Mm.
actually pretty wild, and it still is. I mean, we're transitioning into Motorola, which is completely different. Obviously not a startup, but we're still, kind of in that startup mode in that, and just the day-to-day, it's very much like dispatch, where no day is the same, and it's a wild ride. And
And how you do things one day might be different than how you
yes.
do them the next.
Yeah, because I mean, when you're I don't know much about starting a company. I mean, I've had a business on the side, small business like you, not a multi-million dollar company, right? And so just building processes and all of those things, I've had a front row seat to, and it's been a ride.
Or you've helped build something amazing. So, for folks that are not familiar with Rapid Deploy, which I'm not sure there's many folks out there that are not familiar with what you guys are doing, but you have changed focus and direction and where your priorities are over the years. Before we talk about the acquisition from by Motorola, can you tell me where you guys are as far as what is your biggest push into the industry? If you were on the elevator with me for, that ride to the elevator,
Yep.
what is that elevator pitch that you want me to know about what it is that you guys are passionate about and what you're doing today?
Our mission is mission matters, and really what we're trying to do is bring cloud-based technology to ECCs to be able to reduce response times and hopefully save lives. I mean, that's literally what we're doing. We do that through mapping. We do that through our call data analytics, and now our it's not even new anymore, but our newer product, our newest product, which is our Lightning mobile app, which is basically everything that the call taker has access to through the radius mapping, pushing that out to field responders.
That's amazing. And I don't know if a lot of people know that that exists, and I do think it's really important. I can remember times, and I'm sure you can, and I'm sure folks that are listening, there's times that I'm looking at a screen, I can see exactly where the caller is, or, I'd say
Yeah,
relatively, because I left before, better location came.
sure.
So I'm looking at a location on a map that's not the greatest map, like, let's be honest, because I figured it out the other day. It's almost 9 years since I left the 911 center. Nine
Great.
years, which is crazy, right?
Yeah.
And so I just remember there were times where we had a ATV injury in the woods, and
Hmm.
it was off of a beaten path because why would they stay on the trail, right? And
Right.
I'm looking at a location and I'm trying to communicate that to the fire department. And then
Yeah.
I would, take a picture of it and then I would text
Text
it.
it. Yeah. Oh, I know.
But I shouldn't have been doing that because
No,
what we
correct.
know now is as soon as I text that, it now becomes part of that record. And that's a whole other conversation, but this app sounds wonderful and I think folks should really entertain the thought about finding out about it. Now, would that app be something that the communications folks would push out to the field responders, or are you working directly with the field responders?
We're doing both. It kind of depends on the state. I think, we over 12 statewide deals,
Yes.
and we have three of them now for Lightning. And so the partnerships are a little bit different. We normally start with the 911 center because obviously they know the points of contact and such, but we're doing, we're kind of now dealing also with police, fire, EMS, emergency management, things like that. But I mean, you talk about access to kind of not so great maps. I mean, the thing is, maps are have come so far in the last few years.
Oh yeah.
So you're not just showing location. Obviously, location is the most important, but you're also able to show, on a satellite view, a really good satellite view, exactly where that call's plotting. You can, if it's at a school and there's an incident there, you're seeing the person on an indoor floor plan exactly in the room that they're in,
Crazy.
with all the ingress and egress out of that building. And, to put that in the hands of a field responder is so powerful.
Yeah, it really is. And so if you had folks, because I know I experienced this, you guys are obviously on the what is it, the leading edge or the cutting edge? I don't know which one, but
Yeah,
that's
either
kind of.
one it's either one works.
And I know that myself included, with some new technology that had kind of come out, that I just wasn't like open to experience it at that time. However, the way that I approach technology now is much different because of working with on the commercial side of things. What is your advice to the folks that are still kind of resistant on embracing some of these new technologies that are coming into the center, like video, or being able to text out if there's an incident? And I don't even want to get in to AI because that would be another whole
Sure.
conversation. But if somebody was on the other side of this conversation and we were talking about this and they're like, yeah, but that's too much. What do you say to them?
The biggest thing I say is look at the issues you've had, look at calls that you've had in which you've had trouble getting somebody in need, and solve the problem that way. Don't solve it with, hey, here's a product. How do I fit it into this hole? No, you go start the other way with, here's my problems, here's issues I've had. What would fix that? And I think you can find solutions there in video and texting out from 911. I mean, when when I demo all the time, it's easy enough to just show features.
Yeah.
I talk about what they mean, like how I either use them or would have used them in the Peace app to solve a problem.
Yeah.
Um, and it's great because there's so many examples of things that you could do with those different technologies, and the fact that we're bringing it all into basically one pane of glass so that you don't have to get this product and have it integrated or buy this product and have it on a separate screen. We're trying to do as much as we can without overloading the telecommunicators.
Yeah.
And
And that
and
was
there's a balance there.
There is. There really is, because I know that, there are times that there's a technology available and it just can't be embedded into another place on the console. And sometimes you have to have things that are separate or over the top, and maybe that's just for a short period of time. But it's exciting that you guys are putting everything in one place. Some of the features that I talk about in many of my classes is the ability to be able to text out
Yes.
when there's no 911 call available. Like, how game changing is that?
You can even do that I mean, the agency I used to work at, we used to close most of our 911 hang up calls that way just because people would answer a text
Yep.
because when you call out, you're not calling from 911, you're calling on a 10-digit line. They think it's spam and because they don't know the number and it's just some random number you have in your system.
Yeah.
And so they don't answer. And we would text out and close like 80% of our 911 hang up calls that way. That's
Yeah.
just one example.
Yeah. The video stuff.
Yeah, I have a crazy story out of one of my customers in Florida. And I've had a couple of people who've said, you can't convince me that I need video for any reason. And I said, okay, listen to this story.
Well, you better tell this story because I want to hear it.
So, Florida Panhandle, Walton County, Florida, heavy tourist area for the beaches. Husband and wife are out on a boat, and the husband goes overboard. The wife has absolutely no idea how to use the boat. It starts drifting away and it stalls out. And she calls 911. They did a video call with her. They needed to know the model of the boat. Somebody there knew a little bit about boats, but they Googled, how to restart this boat and walked
Wow.
her through it because they could see on the screen, what she was seeing plus the instructions. They walked her through it. They got the boat restarted. And then using the breadcrumbs from her location, from her Apple phone, they got her turned around and got her back to where she called 911 from. And she pulled her husband out of the water, out of the bay. And
Wow.
I can tell you with 100% certainty that that man would not be alive today if that Peace app did not have video. Plain and simple.
Wow. And that's the thing, right? Is looking at these types of situations where you think to yourself, how could I, like you were saying, how could I work back from this issue, right? If you had heard a different outcome of this call and you ask, how can I work back from this situation? And a lot of folks don't even realize the capability that's at their fingertips.
Oh, absolutely.
Having that type of scenario, and kudos to the telecommunicator, right?
Oh, she was awesome. She was
For
amazing.
engaging that technology. Because again, we could go down another whole rabbit hole where you have folks that are, oh, yeah, it's just another technology. They don't keep up on understanding how it works. And then in the moment they need it most, they're asking their coworker, hey, are you logged into this? Can you do this? Because they didn't take the time and effort to truly learn how to use the life saving technology at their fingertips. Would you agree?
Oh, I agree completely. And I have hundreds of customers because I cover the East Coast and we have multiple statewide deals. And every time I go into a PSAP, I want to sit with telecommunicators because number one, I want to learn, how they're using our technology, but also I'm always showing people stuff that they probably learned in training but forgot and
Yeah.
just not using. And again, I wish I could talk to every single
I
one of the
know.
dispatchers in those hundreds of PSAPs because they would understand them. They're not just, again, not learning a feature. I can explain to them the use case for what those things will do, whether it's texting out or video or whatever.
And you guys are doing stuff with translation services too, right?
Yeah, so that kind of walks into our acquisition by Motorola. We'll be bringing Motorola's Assist package, which is their AI, so translation, transcription, into our radius mapping. That's still slated for the end of this year, Q4.
Awesome. Awesome. And listen, I don't know who lives behind this AI stuff. Like the chat GBT is my bestie. Like for us ADHD kids, my life would have been totally different, totally different. And it is today, which is funny because they don't always embrace new stuff like that. Like the cloud scared the bejesus out of me. Like I didn't know where the cloud
Yeah.
was. How do I access it? I don't trust. I told the guy at Best Buy once, he's like, all right, I'm going to return your computer because my computer crashed and I lost everything because I didn't know how to hook things up to the cloud. And he's like, I'm going to put it on the cloud. And I'm like, but I don't trust it. Like, I don't trust that it's there. I can't go and see
Can't touch
it.
it.
I can't touch it. I can't see it. I can't click on it and go, okay, it's safe and sound in the little cloud. But ChatGPT, oh man, I go there before I go to Google a lot of times
Yes.
because
A lot
it's
of people are
so
now.
yeah, it's so specific. I was in by accident, I got a rental car that was all electric, and I did not know. And I was in the parking lot in the morning getting ready to go to my class, and I pushed the start button, and it's not starting, but all the lights are on. And
Mhm.
so I literally took a picture of my dashboard, and I said, explain to me this chat gbt bestie, and it schooled me. It's like, that's an electric vehicle, it's probably started already, just put it in gear. And that was 100% what the issue was.
I have a similar story. It was a hybrid, not an fully electric car, but same thing. I started this thing like 5 times and
Yeah,
didn't realize it was started.
so I don't feel so bad now. But just thinking about even just that capability, right?
Yes,
And so you mentioned the merger with Motorola. Have to say, was a little surprised, but not really. Like, when you see an acquisition like that, it's like, oh, but then you go, okay, well, that makes sense. Can you talk a little bit about that? Like, what would be the
absolutely.
talking points about that? I'm sure people have questions.
So a couple of things. First thing I want to say is um, everything that we're doing remains vendor agnostic. So because we're in the cloud, because of our devices being just connecting to and receiving data from the call handling equipment, it doesn't matter. So we remain vendor agnostic. We that's our we have statewide deals all over the country that with different phone systems and all that. So I want to make that clear first because it's really important point. But what we do, it's great because Motorola is building an ecosystem that's basically almost done in which they want to be a solution provider from call start to call end.
Love it.
And we fit perfectly in that. They needed a dispatch map, and we have an amazing dispatch map, and it's going to get integrated into first into Vesta and then later into other Motorola products, CAD and such. And so it really was of all the potential options out there. It was the best, and I'm so happy about it because it really it solves problems for Motorola, and it just opens up for us going from 24 states to all 50 states.
Yeah. Were you nervous at first? I mean, like you can be honest, right? It's just us talking and everybody else
Yeah,
is listening. But
nobody's listening.
but were you nervous? Because I feel like I would have been like a little nervous.
Um, it happened very quickly, and like I I knew a little bit about it, but or and kind of actually heard more things in the industry, not even internally.
Yeah.
That's the funny part. But when it happened, we were announcing it at 911 Goes to Washington. And so like it got announced internally the Friday before. I have so many friends at Motorola, they're blowing up my phone. And then we went to Now One Goes to Washington. There's just hundreds of people there, and the excitement was palpable. And it was just I didn't even have time initially to even do that. It was a huge whirlwind for like a week. It
Yeah.
was it was crazy.
Yeah, I can imagine, and I may have been one of those folks that texted you like, "Whoa, this is
Yeah.
this is big news." And so, would when you like rapid deploy is staying kind of that agnostic piece of it. So emails are the same.
Yeah, so we're it's funny. It's like starting a new job because all new tech stack, all
Yeah,
new HR, all new benefits, all that stuff. Yet it's the same job, same team, all that. So
yeah,
our delivery team, which is we call our customer experience team, which is customer success, support, training, implementation, and project management. That whole team is all the same. Everybody who wanted to stay is still with RapidDeploy anyway,
good.
through the whole company, and we're adding people daily. But that delivery team is all intact. We have Motorola addresses now, and
Oh,
I've
okay.
got the Motorola shirts, and I sometimes I gotta decide which shirt to wear. But we haven't, it'll be a while before we're fully integrated into Motorola's, like their customer success team or their delivery team, and
Gotcha.
the and it's great because they're doing it thoughtfully. They want to make sure they're really impressed with our delivery team and what we're able to accomplish, and how much our customers love our product and love our support after. And so they've taken notice of that, and they don't want to mess with that. So they'll be very thoughtful in eventually bringing us up into the big org.
Yeah. I love that because it could be very easy to like pull the rug out and be like, "All right, you guys, you're with us now and this is how we do things over here." It
Yeah.
sounds like they're willing to learn from you and your team and what has been successful. And I'm sure you're going to learn some stuff from their side of the team, right?
Absolutely. I mean, they have tools that we haven't had access to, and so some things will change in terms of, some of the processes we use and tools we use to accomplish those. So again, that's more on the backside for us, and more of a little bit of a learning curve, but I'm excited about those opportunities to get our hands on some tools that we haven't had access to in the past.
That's awesome. Well, I got to start the wrap up, and I think it would be cool if I asked you to share with our folks. There are a lot of folks out there, one that are struggling. I know that you, just like me, care very deeply for the mental health of our telecommunicators and the importance, of the job that they do. But I also know there's a lot of folks that are struggling to kind of make that leap from moving from the center onto the next thing. If somebody came to you and said, "Hey Wes, I know that you spend a lot of time in the 911 center, you moved over to the private sector. What advice would you give them if they were seeking knowledge on whether or not they should go to the private sector or out into the other parts of the world?"
Sure. Um, It's actually coincidence, but I've actually helped interview a couple people for a position on our team this week, and so um,
And I'm assuming they're coming from the center.
yes, coming
Yeah.
from the center. And, the conversation or the questions I ask are, why are you doing it? What are you looking to accomplish? And what tools do you have that feel are relevant to the same? How do you go, how do you feel about going from being the customer, if you will, to helping the customer and
Yeah.
supporting the customer? And so I kind of try to walk them through it, and I want them to articulate what it is that they're trying to accomplish. Um, and
Kind of what are they seeking to get
yes,
from
and,
this?
and not just an escape. Like if it's just an escape, that's not necessarily the right reasoning.
Right.
It's got to be something more than I just need to get out of the peace app.
Yeah.
Then, this may not be the role for you. This may not be what you're looking for. It's and I've seen that with people who've struggled on the kind of on the private side or commercial side because that may have been their reasoning.
Yeah. And I think the other thing too is I think a- as a human behavior specialist, I've done a lot of training, a lot of educating myself, a lot of research on humans and how they behave and what they seek and our personalities, etc. And one of the things that I've realized is even just talking to some of the folks in the industry that have left the center and they went to work for one of the private companies is they see an opportunity and they say, hey, I think I could do that. But
Yes.
in reality, they can't. And and in a different world, maybe they could. Because and I'll give you an example. In the 911 center, I was able to multitask like a bad, whatever. But take me out of the comm center and I can't finish an email.
Yes.
I I forget that what I was doing 30 seconds ago. I have 47 tabs open. They're
Hmm.
two very different worlds. And I think sometimes if you are just jumping to jump, you may not land in a safe place. You really need to do some internal work and figure out who you are, what motivates you, what demotivates you, and what is
Absolutely.
the role that you feel like you're going to be successful in.
I was very thoughtful. No, that's a really good, that was like my whole line of thinking. And I was very thoughtful when I left. And it's not just about the role that you want, it's where you are willing to work.
Yeah.
Are a startup versus a long time Fortune 500 company, they're completely different. And somebody could be successful at one and not the other. Like
Yeah.
you have to really understand not just the role, but where you're trying to go. And when I was looking, I mean, I was kind of honestly pigeonholing myself because I had a list of not even a handful of places that and roles that I was interested in. And I'm, you know, as I as I mentioned, I'm thankful that somebody came along and scooped me up. But it's it's tough because I wasn't just willing to take any job. Just
Gotcha.
that I was very particular about what I was looking for. I, and I knew I wanted to be probably in customer success or something dealing front facing with customers, but not directly selling. That was kind of my thing. So I'm thankful it worked out, but you really do have to think it through because there's a lot to it. It's the position, it's the type of company, it's but most importantly, you talked about what motivates you. You have to believe in what that company is doing.
Yeah.
I have to have a purpose to come to work every day, just like I did in the 911 center. That was my purpose.
Yeah.
And I could have stayed there much longer. It just had but I think it was good for me timing wise to make that transition. I had to still have a purpose and a why.
Yeah.
It's so important, and you have to know what that purpose is, what your why is, and what motivates you, and find a role, whether it's in this industry or something else, anything in life that's gonna meet those things to make you happy.
Yep. Yep. I love it. I love it. And you're still supporting in a way that you love, which again, I just want to, as we do officially wrap up here, I just want to say thank you to you and RapidDeploy for initiating the sponsorship for the telecommunicator event. And if you're listening to this and you did not register last year, make sure you go over to my website onscenefirst.com and throw your information in there for our newsletter, because then you'll get notified when it's time to register. I hope to see you guys back next year for the event.
Absolutely.
All right, Wes. Well, thank you so much. I love this conversation, as I do. We've had lots of conversations at all kinds of hours of the day.
We have.
On more than one occasion. I think it was either very late at night, early in the morning. I don't know. But we've had a few of those, and I always enjoy our conversations. So thank you for joining me today. I can't wait to see you in person wherever our paths may cross. So thanks, buddy.
I know I haven't seen you in a while and I need a hug, so I hope I see you soon.
Yes, thank you. Hey, heroes. We hope you enjoyed the show. Please like and follow us on our On Scene First social media so you too can keep up with our shenanigans. And make sure you get to know our friends over at Squad Life. You can start by heading over to their social media, giving them a follow, and thank them for being a hero sponsor. Until next time, stay safe, stay strong, and stay here. We need you.